This video is brought to you by HockeyMonkey.com, the world's largest online hockey retailer, offering all the latest and greatest hockey equipment at everyday low prices. Hey guys, Josh from HockeyReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review of the Reebok RibCor hockey stick. Now, when I first saw this stick, I have to say I was definitely intrigued by the design, but at the same time it did come across as a little bit gimmicky with the ridges in the shaft of the stick itself. But after having used the stick myself, I have to say I've been very impressed by the overall performance, which is what we're going to talk about in today's review. Now, for testing, I used a senior model, 75 flex, completely uncut, with the Crosby curve, which is kind of what I'm used to as far as curves are concerned, so no real getting used to or break-in period with this stick. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. Starting off with the overall balance and weight of the stick, the RibCor weighs in at 430 grams, so it's about average weight for a high-end hockey stick. And as far as the balance is concerned, it's a very well-balanced stick. An uncut senior model RibCor has a balance point of about right here, so you can see I'm just slightly below the center of the stick. So for the most part, it feels very lightweight in hand, no matter how you're holding it, whether you have two hands on the stick or even one, making it very easy to maneuver. And as far as the construction is concerned, it is a true one-piece construction, which also helps with the overall balance. While the construction of the RibCor shaft is a little bit out of the ordinary, the actual dimensions and in-hand feel is pretty traditional. It features rounded corners and straight sidewalls and is about an average thickness in hand. So for the most part, I felt very comfortable with this stick right off the bat, and most people who are used to a standard traditional feeling hockey stick will also feel very comfortable. There's nothing unusual here in regards to how the stick feels in hand. One thing that is a little bit unusual is, of course, that rib design, which is basically on the lower third of the stick. It starts from right about here and then ends right about here, so it's in the tapered area. And honestly, the stick doesn't taper very much at all, not until you get to very close to the bottom of the blade. So for the most part, if you're dropping your hand for face-off, it's going to have that same in-hand thickness, which is something that I really like about this particular stick. As far as feeling the ribs is concerned, when you're dropping your hand a little bit lower on the shaft, you may notice a little bit if you're dropping your hand for a shot. You will notice it a lot more when dropping your hand for a face-off. But for the most part, when you have gloves on, it's not super noticeable, even though the ribs are a little bit more extreme than you might expect. But again, it doesn't change the dimensions of the shaft, so for the most part, you still have a nice consistent grip. And what's nice about the actual grip coating on the stick is it goes all the way right to the base of the stick, so you have a nice consistent feel across the entire shaft from top to bottom. As far as grip coatings are concerned, it's available in grip as well as clear. The one I used for testing was the grip variation, and essentially it's a clear coat rubberized finish with some very kind of small dimpling. It's very subtle. It's not super noticeable when you actually have gloves on, and it's on certain areas of the stick in the optimal loading zone, as Reebok calls it here, and it's just going to provide a little bit of additional grip, but for the most part, it's nothing too out of the ordinary as far as grip coatings are concerned. And if you want something with a little bit less grip, a clear option is available, where it basically has a matte finish with that same dimpled texturing in those same specific areas. So for the most part, grip and clear options are available, and you can choose based on your own personal preferences. When it comes to puck feel, I was very impressed with the blade on the Reebok RibCor. It features what they call the SSX blade. It's a foam core blade with a somewhat unique construction. You can see that the composite fibers on the outside are woven at 90 degrees as well as 45 degrees. The strands at 90 degrees are supposedly there for structural integrity and just general stiffness to the blade, whereas the 45-degree oriented fibers are designed for storing and releasing energy. So giving it that little bit of pop, that little bit of flex, that isn't necessarily going to allow the blade to open up, but like I said, giving a nice responsive feel when shooting the puck. It's kind of difficult to verify whether or not that is the case, but that is how Reebok explains the design. Like I said, it is a foam core blade, and what's unique about this particular design, and we're seeing this a lot from many companies actually, is that it features a progressively stiffer blade. So it's stiff at the heel, and it gets progressively stiffer as you get closer and closer to the toe. And for my experience, when it comes to shooting the puck, there's really no flex to this blade whatsoever, so it feels very accurate, and it is surprisingly stiff considering how thin it actually is. When it comes to puck feel though, because it is such a stiff blade, I was a little bit worried, but honestly the puck feel with this stick is really nice. It's quite forgiving for being so stiff, so when it comes to having a nice soft feel when you're stick handling and receiving passes, like I said, I was very, very impressed with the RibCor. It feels great. It's very easy to use. There's no real break-in period or getting used to period with this particular stick because of it. And again, I just felt very, very natural for being so stiff. It has a nice forgiving feel, and that's really what I look for most high-end hockey sticks, just because I consider myself as more of a stick handler. I like making passes, I like receiving passes and stuff like that. So something like this that feels as responsive as it does when shooting the puck, but at the same time is as forgiving as it is when stick handling and receiving passes, is something that I really can appreciate and really haven't experienced from too many high-end hockey sticks currently out there on the market. So in terms of the blade, to me, 5 out of 5. I really like it. It's one of the best blades currently out there on the market. When it comes to shooting the puck, I must say that the Reebok RibCor really did exceed my expectations. I wasn't expecting it to feel the way it did. Now, the main reason why you would go for the RibCor stick is of course due to the rib design in the shaft. It's very unique and exclusive to the Reebok RibCor. Now essentially what this technology is, it's what Reebok's calling preloaded fiber technology. And essentially what they are promoting with the Reebok RibCor is the responsiveness of the shaft due to the fibers being ready to go at any time. Essentially how this concept works, or how Reebok explains it, with a standard composite shaft construction, the fibers that make up the actual shaft are not in constant tension. They're in more of a relaxed state. So when you load up for a shot, let's say there's a couple milliseconds of time that are required for the fibers to be put into tension until they can release all that energy, releasing the puck, obviously allowing you to shoot. Now, with the Reebok RibCor, with this rib design, it puts all of these fibers in a constant tension. So they are ready to go with no delay time whatsoever. So when you load up for a shot, they're already in a state of tension. So there's no millisecond delay or anything like that. And the puck's going to release a lot more quickly and hopefully with more power. That's the basis of this design. Hopefully that makes sense. And to me, it does make a little bit sense, while at the same time it does seem a little bit gimmicky. Now I will say, in terms of responsiveness, the stick does feel very responsive. It pops really nicely, it loads up really nicely, and it does allow for a pretty good transfer of power when you lean into your shot. With that being said, does it feel that much more responsive than any other high-end stick currently out there on the market? Honestly, no. I didn't feel like once I was using the RibCor and then switched to something else that there was a delay time when shooting the puck. But with that being said, there is a very consistent pop from the Reebok RibCor, and I would say that it does feel a little bit more lively in terms of loading up the shaft versus a lot of high-end sticks currently out there in the market. So again, if you're looking for something with a very quick release and a very lively feel, then you're really going to like the Reebok RibCor. As far as kick point is concerned, the kick point is being advertised as a couple different things. I've seen it advertised as a mid kick stick, as a low kick stick, and I would kind of say that it's somewhere right in the middle between a mid and a low kick point type of stick. And because of that, it makes it really suitable for a wide variety of shot types, and also very easy to load up and get plenty of power transfer from the shaft itself. So whether you're taking wrist shots, snap shots, a quicker shooting style, it's going to perform great. Or even if you're loading up for a heavy slap shot or a one-timer, it performs equally as well. And I never felt like the shaft was opening up or anything like that. It feels very sturdy, and like I said, responsive no matter what you're doing with it when it comes to shooting. As far as the blade is concerned, that SSX blade feels nice and stiff. It's very responsive. Again, it never feels like it's opening up on you. So for the most part, it's nice and accurate and provides a very kind of controlled feel because of its stiffness, especially towards the tip of the toe. So for the most part, in terms of shooting the puck, I was very, very impressed with the Reebok RibCor, and I really would say it is one of the ultimate shooting sticks currently out there on the market. In terms of durability, the RibCor that I used for testing has held up pretty well. Because of its pretty much all black design, there really aren't any graphics that chip off, and for the most part, it really does maintain its aesthetics. Other than just some minor chips and scratches that are from normal wear and tear on a hockey stick, like I said, nothing really concerns me here. The one thing that I would point out is at the very tip of the toe on the blade itself, there is a little bit of chipping going on, more than I perhaps would like, but again, it doesn't damage the overall structural integrity of the stick. Everything is still intact, and again, nothing is worrying me at this point in terms of this stick not lasting for another couple months. With that being said, I'm not really one to break sticks all that often, so again, in terms of overall durability, nothing jumps out at me as a major concern with the Reebok RibCor. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Reebok RibCor. Overall, I have to say I'm a really big fan of this stick. I really haven't used Reebok since the very beginning when they first came into hockey, But after using the RibCor, I'm definitely going to keep them on my radar because I was very, very impressed with the overall performance of the RibCor. It has some tremendous puck feel. I really like this blade, and the responsiveness that you get from the RibCor shaft is pretty impressive. While it's not leaps and bounds ahead of the other high-end sticks currently on the market, there definitely is a slight noticeable difference, I will say. And like I said, the performance aspects of the stick, while it may seem a little bit gimmicky, are definitely there. So for the most part, if you're looking for a great overall performer for a wide variety of shot types, then this is definitely a great stick that you should consider for yourself. Other than that though, guys, if you have any questions, be sure to leave those down below in the comments. And also, if you have any suggestions for other equipment you'd like to see reviewed, also leave those down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support with a like. If you guys are interested in purchasing a Reebok RibCor for yourself, there will be a buy it now link down below in the description, so be sure to go ahead and check that out. Other than that though, guys, subscribe for more reviews on all the latest and greatest hockey gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.